Hello, people. Gosh, it feels like an age since I've been here. And the gap was meaningful and really taught me to trust my instincts and what came to me. And that's a story for another day. It's quite a big story. I've been on a really grand adventure. But what I wanted to speak to you today about was a dream that I had yesterday, which then turned into theta state work and is coming through as what feels like a collective message. So I'm going to share that with you today. And I'm noticing that I feel really nervous today coming to camera. So I'm just being with that. So, as you know, we're in 2021, in case you'd forgotten. And 2021 is giving us this 5 energy. Earth, air, fire, water, ether, all pulling in different directions at once. 5 is change, 5 is often chaos. And it's going to bring us into the deepest levels of avoidance within us. It's going to bring us into the deepest levels of resistance. So I'm going to speak about that. So let me just get my notes up and my glasses on. How are you, by the way? How are you handling these changes? January's been a mother. It's been a bugger. So the dream was that I was on stage speaking about this bad boy. And I was talking into the Heirophant, which is the masculine counterpart of the priestess. Okay, it's the high priest. And it's about contracts, negotiations, agreements, I guess boundaries. And so I was on stage speaking about the Hierophant and how we contract with life. So how we contract with the external world and how that is actually a reflection of how we contract with the internal world. So what is in here is going to get manifested out there. Then I kind of woke up a little bit out of dream state and moved into theta, medi head state, and did some vision work. And what came through was that in the personal collective, the archetype of the imposter is being unraveled. The archetype of the imposter is being unraveled within us. And what I sensed into was that this is happening because this is going to be the year of change. And for some, it's going to be literally the year of dreams landing. Do you remember last year, June, July? Flick back through my videos, but I challenged everybody to dream big. And that seems to have been 6 months ago. And I think we're on a full moon, which ends a 6-month cycle. Check that out. I'm not doing astrology today. And so I think what began 6 months ago was the beginning of the dream big. How big can you dream? Where do you want your life and your heart and your soul to go? What feeds you? What uplifts you? What supports you? Okay. So I'm just going to read straight from my notes and then I'll talk into them. So internally, imposter archetype is about where we think we can't or even won't, depending on how strong that energy is. So I wanted to work with the imposter as an entity. So this is how I work systemically in the field, is I will bring that archetype in and let it present as an energetic form. So I invited in the imposter archetype. And the first thing it did was to challenge my expectations, because it came in as this kind of blob of mercurial stuff. It was like slime, mercurial. And what surprised me was it was a beautiful shade of baby pink. Okay, so there's one challenge immediately. And the first thing I noticed was how tired he looked, and he felt very and this is my perception. So take the pieces and fit them into your own jigsaw puzzle, because your journey is as unique as mine. And I noticed that he looked tired, like really tired, and I could feel that it was taking him all his energy just to manifest, you know. So I pulled up a chair for the imposter. Just put the Heirophant down for a minute. I pulled up a chair for him, and I pulled up a chair for me, and I sat down and just made contact with it. And I said, "You look tired. Do you have something to share?" And he said, "The imposter is being unpicked from the inside. It's about moving into the house of self and owning and knowing who and what we are without the side chatter of the inner doubting virus of self. It's about us becoming our own Heirophant, drawing up our own contracts, terms and conditions, and executing them to the letter, no matter what towers have to fall in the process." And then I was given the phrase Kung Fu. So I look up Kung Fu, and this is what it tells me. It is the Kung Fu of personal mastery. Kung means skillful work, hard training, or endeavor. Fu, time spent. So this is about commitment to self, to be your own entity, your own board of directors, your own set of contracts and agreements, terms and conditions. And it takes a committed and sustained effort to stand by those while you watch towers fall, towers of belief, towers of truth, towers of illusion. And in the material world, that may actually look like people falling away, or you letting people go, letting jobs go, letting homes go, letting what you believe defines you go. As the inner imposter begins to unravel, the truth about who you are reveals itself on the inside and then naturally appears on the outside. It will manifest as a super skill and will help you spot the fake, the cheat, the liar, the manipulator, the controller. I could go on. Okay, so there's so much I can say about this archetype. I'm going to go back to the Heirophant. Yeah, okay. So the first thing I notice about this card is these two men kind of looking up. And there's a lot of conversations going around, I'm noticing at the moment, about the perception of slavery as a societal machination, if you like. And within this image, there's a contract, there is an agreement that that is higher than that. Okay. That's just a thought. So for that to be higher than that, that has to make an agreement to be on its knees. looking up. So when you look at your life and the circumstances in it, the people in it, the jobs in it, whatever defines you, look for this movement. Look for where you look up to. Look for where you defer to. Look for where you abdicate to. Okay? Because his word is only his word. So when we bring the energy of this within, we gain personal power. We gain personal individuality and discernment. I was talking to somebody I trust implicitly yesterday who gave me the word discrimination, and it landed so powerfully. How do we discriminate between truth and illusion? How do we get really honest with that which pretends to care and that which genuinely cares? And when we spot a misalignment in that truth, what do we do about it? Do we take action and move on it, call it out? Or do we adjust our terms and conditions so that that still likes us, so that we continue to believe the illusion that that cares for us? And you can take this all the way up the fractal. You can take this into the broader societal value of go to work, earn money, pay the tax man, have a holiday, whatever. And how does that really serve you? It can be the difference between what is the work that you're doing in the world, and actually what's your motivation to do that work? And is that work in truthful alignment with what is at the core of you? So as we move into February, these energies are going to ramp up. And as we change our contracts with self, with others, with society, with the cosmos, then we open ourselves up to even greater potentials to become. And when you see what's truly inside yourself, how are you going to be with that? When you see your awesomeness, your inner magi, your architect, your creatrix, how are you going to bring that into the world? Yeah, and there's a really big thing about rest at the moment, like deep soulful rest in hand with the creation of art. And you'll have heard me say 2 or 3 times before, you can have your pudding when you've eaten your greens. That's kind of how we treat rest. And yeah, I'll sit down and I'll rest when I've done this thing or whatever. But what if you gave yourself the permission slip that your soul deeply needs? Having made it through 2020, stepping into the active, changing, dynamic energy. 2020 was more about the beingness of structure and how are we being in the structure. And 2021 is about the doingness. And I've had a deep glimpse into myself in 2020, and I can see the misalignments. And now I have dynamic chaos energy to work with, to create change. And so I guess a useful question might be, what kind of change do you want to make? Can you see where your heart is pointing you for a start? What does your heart want? Do you ask that question? How do you truly feel? Has anybody ever seen the film Inside Out? It's a Disney film, and it's about the psychology of the mind and how the brain works. It's a really good film, especially for kids wanting to understand how they make decisions. And it works with the 5 archetypal emotions. And, excuse me, and the lead emotion is joy, and she's a beautiful creature, but she's very joyful, like all the time, very joyful. And this video appeared on my YouTube feed. I didn't watch the video because the title said it all. And it was some psychologist who had psychologically evaluated the film, in her opinion. And she called joy toxically positive. And I love that. That's so brutally honest. Toxically positive. How are you today? How often do we tell the truth with that question? There's a contract. That's a big contract. How are you today? I'm fine. When inside you might be feeling a myriad of different feelings. You might just be feeling chaotic, you know. So yeah, there's going to be some really, really blunt truths. I'm going to pull a couple of cards. It's going to be a quick one today. So I wonder if it might be interesting to do some kind of critical audit on yourself, and maybe ask questions like, where do I put up with stuff that leaves me feeling a bit icky and gooey? Who are the people in my life that truly uplift me? Who are the people I've asked myself this one recently. Who is truly meeting me where I'm at? And in there is my obligation to be where I'm at, to be in the truth of where I'm at, to allow others to meet me where I'm at. You see how it goes in and out. Everything is a reflection of self. Who truly uplifts me? Who challenges me and helps me grow and break out of this container of behavior and boundaries and shake my wings free, be weird, be odd? Because that's what we're moving into. How can you bring your unique oddness to the world? It's a lot of courage. Underlying card. The release and metamorphosis. Number 13. That's actually profound. In my life, that's profound. And I'll share it with you another day, but yeah, that's profound. 13, the number of the divine feminine. The 13th sign of the zodiac of Fucus. Look at all that serpent energy. Fucus is the embodiment of the self-actualized self. I'm just going to shut these notes down, bear with me. All these active meridians coming alive in the body and helping us to move into our intuitive expression. Using the intuition to go out in more than one direction and keeping the blinders off to be open to what you're going to meet when you walk into the void, when you connect at a really, really cosmic level. And releasing old contracts, releasing old terms and conditions that you may have put on yourself to be some kind of way for some kind of people or some kind of job, to fit in, and being free. And you might come out looking a bit scary. Can you be with that? Crikey, wow. Gosh, metamorphosis and transition. Sixes. Well, I might say, what does your heart want? Sixes, Grail energy. Do you let your heart sing? And if your heart wants to sing in discordant noise, will you tidy that up or will you just let it be? Ooh, different energy here. Wow. Did I say recently life is speeding up? I think I did. Surge. So what I'm sensing in the field is that stuff's going to start landing as we move into the year, in February, March, as we move into spring and birth. And it might come in as a bit of a cornucopia. This is fast-moving energy. 8 is success and abundance, change on all levels, karmic contracts even. Okay, it keeps coming back, doesn't it? This tree is just full of options, colour, directions to go in, hidden opportunities. Trepidation. Yeah. So as you walk forward into 2021, do you walk with the trepidation, just focused on, oh my God, what am I going to have to let go of? Or do you stride like an adventurer? And can you allow yourself to believe that you've really got your back in this? And those that know me will know that one of my regular repeating phrases is, hindsight is the only perfect science. And I learn so much when I come right up, take an eagle eye view, a really high perspective. Then I can kind of see a 3-month block of my life. And then I get this, oh, wow, that's what I've been doing. Like this morning, I wrote myself a note saying something like, very often when I sense big change to come, I perceive it to be, But the truth is, it's actually a series of small incremental steps, many of which I've already taken. And I can only see that I've already taken them when I look at that block of time. So for instance, last summer, I took down my LinkedIn profile. Then on my birthday last year, November, I took down my Facebook profile. The next to go will be Instagram. Then I followed a movement to insert a big vacation on my YouTube channel. So something in me is pulling in every resource spare that is giving energy to something that doesn't uplift me. So this is my recontracting. Facebook doesn't uplift me. Facebook doesn't encourage me to grow. Instagram doesn't encourage me to grow. LinkedIn never fed me on any level. That's a lie. Brought me one long-term amazing friend. So it's that kind of real truth that can transcend expectation and illusion and what everybody else is saying. It's the absolute truth is actually this doesn't serve me. That feels like the collective truth about helping the imposter self to unravel and go and get some rest, because he's very tired. Okay, so yeah, have a look at the last 6 months. Have a look at what you've been doing, the truth of what you've actually been doing. And I really want to say, trust your gut, because it was my gut and my intuition that said, pull back from YouTube now. And it was my gut and my intuition that said, begin the process of taking your Facebook page down. That was on the 15th of November. It has to be down by the 30th of November. And I'm beginning to be shown now why that had to happen. So letting go of the why, just do it. If your gut says, do this now, do it. Because only when you look back and take a bird's eye view will you go, oh, wow, that's why I did that. Okay. So it's allowing yourself to be something that isn't governed by normal expectation, that isn't governed by because, that isn't governed by why. Because we don't quite know those yet. We're moving into, how do I put this? We're moving into a world that hasn't yet been created. And so everything we think, feel, say, and do is creating, because we're at the pivot point now. We've been at the pivot point for a couple of months, and I sense it will be like almost, well, at least the first half of 2021 is turning this titanic ship of behavior towards, what's my truth in this? And can I live with the fact that when I bring that truth, people are going to fall away? Okay, so have a look at the last 6 months. And yeah, these are just, wow, gosh. Okay, I'm going to give you this last message. These are just coming off the bottom of the deck. Wow, how beautiful. Okay. No, that came off first, and that, then that, then that. Okay. So following on from, will you teeter forward in trepidation, or will you stride forward as an adventurer in this world that is being written with every thought, feeling, action? And following the adventurer is exploring the path, or exploring many paths simultaneously, all at once. Like I say, cornucopia. Let the heart guide you. Let the heart guide you. And the heart isn't always this shining beacon of light. Sometimes the heart needs to bring you in some shadow. Shadow is just as beautiful as the light in you. Just as beautiful. Your shadow is just as beautiful as your light. So adopting the adventurer explorer, is what is going to move you into joy. Okay, and it's also going to bring up the resistance to joy, which is fear of failure, fear of, you finish that sentence. Oh, I hate this card. I may as well scribble that out and just write patience. Persevere. Oh, God, she feels tired. Look at that. And you may stumble on the I can't carry on. I cannot go on. What did I say? Then rest. But I've got stuff to do. Rest. And when we talk about rest, people often say to me, well, I do, I snuggle up under a blanket, yada, yada. Rest the mind. It's the mind that will give you permission. When the mind can stand down and stop planning and needing and expecting and obligating, and when the mind can just have a rest, then you truly move into peaceful rest. Okay, in peaceful rest is where you can really connect to the spirit that guides you, and where you can really be honest about what contracts am I in at the moment, in myself and with others. Okay, so my loves, that's it for today. Yeah, stay with it, persevere, dig down, find your defiance, dig down into the shadow. That's where your magic is, that's where your power is. And good luck. Or for now, I'll leave you with my love, and I'll be back again soon.